I wasn't really paying attention. God only made a few perfect heads and he put hair on the rest. I'm inside all day. I work in an office. Hi, welcome back to Julie's Beautiful Life. It is a beautiful day in South Georgia today and I'm feeling good and just thought I'd share it with you. Today we need to talk about basic skincare. Just easy stuff. You probably know most of it, but just in case you don't, let me pass on what I know. Did you know that skin is the largest organ of the human body? It doesn't get as much press as, say, hearts and livers and kidneys, but it has a very important function. And it's not just important for your overall well-being, it's the foundation for everything you put on. So if you want your makeup to look better, maybe you need to spend a little more time taking care of your skin. The first thing that makes a huge difference in your skin, water. Drink lots of water, guys. Any doctor would tell you the same. You may think you have dry skin, but you may have dehydrated skin. Either way, drink more water and see if your skin doesn't feel better and look better. The next thing we need to talk about is sunscreen. I know you don't want to hear it. Everybody's always telling you, put on your sunscreen. But it's really important, guys. Now we know now how much damage the sun's rays did to us over many years. And let's face it, I was an 80s girl. I spent a lot of time in the sun, baking my body and basting it with baby oil, tanning oil. We used foil reflectors to make sure we got up underneath the chin. You know, we just laid there and inflicted damage on our skin, but it looked good, didn't it? Well, we now know that that's just terrible. It's terrible for your skin, and it's really hard watching young people go to tanning booths and bake themselves, and it's just terrible for them. But you know, the cosmetic industry has your back. They have self-tanners, and some of them are great. I mean, it used to be you used a self-tanner, you turned orange, you looked like the orange man, but it's not like that anymore. There are some that are really good. You might need to try a few till you find the right one that gives you a good color, but they're really much better than they always were before, and definitely, if that's the look you want, go for a self-tanner. All I'm saying, guys, is if you want some modicum of control over the way your skin is aging, sunscreen is something you can do. Now, the sun isn't the only thing you need protection from. Turns out that computers and electronics and LED lights, those blue lights, guess what? They damage skin. So, I don't want to hear, I'm inside all day, I work in an office. Doesn't matter. You're still getting the sun peeking in through windows and doors, and you're still, especially if you're sitting in front of a computer, you're getting bombarded with blue lights all day long. So do yourself a favor, guys. Go out and get yourself some good sunscreen. It's so worth the money. Especially when you can get it really inexpensively now. There's no excuse not to use a good sunscreen. Another thing you need to know is that you may not be using enough sunscreen. If you are putting on your sunscreen in the morning and going about your day, chances are you're only getting 25 to 50% of the protection you think you have. Dermatologists say it takes about a tablespoon of SPF to cover your face and neck. And don't forget your ears. And guys, God only made a few perfect heads and he put hair on the rest. So take care of that head, will you? A tablespoon of sunscreen is a lot. Trust me, I do it every day. Put it on back of your hand or whatever and dot it on your face like you would a moisturizer or a foundation, and just rub in those dots, and after they absorb, do another layer. It takes me about 3 layers to get a whole tablespoon absorbed into my skin. And then you should wait 15 minutes before going outside or putting makeup on over it. It needs that 15 minutes to set. And then you're ready to go and enjoy the rest of your day. Now there's 2 kinds of sunscreen. There's physical and there's chemical. If your label says active ingredients, zinc oxide, titanium dioxide, you've got a physical sunscreen. They are minerals, which provide an actual physical barrier. They are great for sensitive skin, people with sensitive skin, babies, little guys, really good stuff and generally well tolerated. Some people have trouble with chemical sunscreens. I can use them over my body, but I cannot tolerate them on my face. If your label has anything other than zinc oxide and titanium dioxide, you've got a chemical sunscreen, and they're great. And the majority of people can use them with no problem. So it doesn't really matter which kind you use. It all comes down to what you can tolerate, but you need to use one of them. So make sure you pick some up at the store and get going on this. You're not getting any younger. Another thing you need to be aware of. If you go outside without sunscreen, how long does it take your skin to burn? Okay, put that aside for a minute. Now, if you have an SPF 30, what that 30 means is that take that time that it took your skin to burn without sunscreen. Let's say that time is 15 minutes. Now, multiply it by 30, 450 minutes. That is the amount of time that your skin is protected. Each time you reapply, you don't get another 30 times the protection. Reapplying only maintains that level of protection for the day. That's really important to know, because if you're going to be outside all day or at the beach, at the pool, walking around Disney World, you'll need a much higher SPF, and you still need to be reapplying every 2 hours. Now there's easier ways to reapply. There's sunscreen sprays, there are sunscreen powders, like so. This is what my sunscreen powder looks like, and I keep it in my purse. The brush pops down, and you can see, you can see that powder coming out. That's just to maintain the level of sunscreen that you have for the day. So there's lots of ways to get that sunscreen and different ways to reapply. Make sure you do this. It's really worth your time and effort. It'll make your skin look so much nicer, and you'll feel better. And don't forget, sun damage causes skin cancer. So this isn't something to fool around with. That's just the basics. There's one more thing I'd like to touch on today. That is, there's an FDA approved cream that actually reverses the hands of time. I didn't really believe it until I saw the proof myself. I'm going to link in the description box down below a video by Angie from Hot and Flashy. She did a before picture, and then 5 years later, after using Retin-A for 5 years, she did an after picture. The results are astonishing. They really blew me away. I had no idea that something like that was available. I'd heard of Retin-A. I didn't know what it was. I wasn't really paying attention. Maybe you weren't paying attention either. If not, listen up, because Retin-A is the gold standard in anti-aging technology. Now, it is a prescription. You have to get it from your dermatologist. The generic name is tretinoin. Not everyone can use Retin-A. I have rosacea, and I also have very sensitive skin, and I can't use Retin-A. My dermatologist specifically told me not to. And he suggested a retinol. Now, a retinol is different because it's not active. Retin-A is an active ingredient. It doesn't need to go through any chemical reaction of any kind. It's all ready to go when you put it on your skin. A retinol, it needs to go through one conversion to become active. So it needs to interact with your skin to become active. So it's much better tolerated by people that have sensitive skin. My doctor suggested that I use Differin. Differin used to be a prescription cream. It is now available over the prescription. It's a gel, and it's not Retin-A, but it's the closest thing I can get to it. So I've been using it. It takes a little playing with to get the right level. The doctor would suggest that you start it once every 3 or 4 days, and then see how that feels, and then gradually move up. You can build your tolerance to it. I got a little happy last week and decided that I was going to use it every night, and that was not a good idea. I spent about 4 days with my face burning and red and peeling. And people with rosacea, you don't want to set off your skin like that because it can take a really long time to get it back under control. So I didn't use anything other than a very mild cleanser and a very mild moisturizer, and had to wait a week almost to get my skin back under control. This is heavy duty stuff, guys, so be careful with it. I think that ought to take care of basic skincare. So thanks for coming by and spending some time with me today, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, go out and live your beautiful life.